All right, everybody, this is Dan O'Sullivan. Good morning here from our Bucks Island Area Fishing Report presented by Mercury. We got Josh Herren on the line. Josh, what's going on down there in your neck of the woods at Logan Martin?
Man, fishing's finally starting to pick up a little bit. Spinner baits, buzz baits, chatter baits working really good early in the morning. Fish fast and fish often.
So I figured that current that came through with this starting to run a little bit of water, starting to get a little cooler temperatures. The water temperature may have dropped a little bit. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. It's come down about 5 to 7 degrees this week. This week it should probably come down another 5 degrees. Nights are really cooling off. Fishing should really start picking up. We'll start getting to reclaim our lakes back from the lake lifers, and life should go back to fun and normal.
So what kind of areas on Logan Martin do you think we should be checking out?
Man, any of that stuff around the mid-lake park area, it's really good right now. Down the lake seems to be showing out. The cooler the water gets, farther up the lake, fish will start kind of firing, and you'll start getting more of that shad transition, true fall patterns. Stuff should start getting really good here soon.
Well, it sounds like Logan Martin's kicking off pretty good. I'm assuming the same kind of thing is happening down there on Lay Lake.
Lay's a little bit farther behind. It always is. Generally, right around the middle of October is when you start seeing some really kind of more steady, is what I'd call it. Largemouths start playing a little bit more grass bite, frog, jigs. Traditional southern Coosa River stuff really starts shining.
So right now, if someone's going out there to Lay Lake, are they still going to want to look at the shaky heads, maybe throw a flirt worm, that kind of stuff, maybe flipping a little bit?
It's kind of the same deal as Logan Martin, early, shallow, deeper throughout the day.
What kind of baits would you focus on both lakes if you were going to be fishing right now?
Man, that Nico rig's really good right now. I guess it's just a less used, more approachable tactic. 4.5 rocket, 16th ounce weight, 4.5-inch pocket rocket. You'll get bit.
What kind of colors? I'm assuming that we're going to have a little bit more watercolor in the system. What kind of colors would you go with?
Anywhere from like Magic Cross Swirl, black and blues, traditional just straight green pumpkins, they'll still shine right now.
All right. Well, Josh, we appreciate you spending some time with us as always on our Bucks Island Area Fishing Report presented by Mercury. Thanks. And we'll look forward to talking to you soon.
All right. You guys take care.
Thanks. Well, special thanks to Josh Herren for spending some time with us here talking about fishing on Logan Martin and Lay Lake. And don't forget, most of the tackle, including the pocket rockets and everything else that Josh brought up from Reaction Innovations, can be found right here at Bucks Island in the Loft. Come and see us. And if you have any special questions about the fishing, we're here to answer those as well. All right, everybody, this is Dan O'Sullivan again with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report presented by Mercury. We're going to head up to Lake Guntersville with our friend Tom Ott. Tom, how's things been up there on the big lake?
Man, I'm telling you, Dano, it's just getting better and better. You know, the closer we get to fall and some fall-like temperatures, it's getting better and better. Still struggling a little bit finding that frog bite, but it's coming on. So I'm really excited about that happening soon. The lake conditions, we're going to see what Sally brings. We kind of got missed up here in this area. So depending on how far it goes up to the east, we'll see how much flow we get, how much muddy water, if any. Right now, the lake's just looking fantastic, though.
So we had talked last week, and you'd said that kind of some hard spots in and around the grass and those kinds of deals, a little bit of offshore, maybe a little bit of turn into the shallows a little bit. Is that kind of still what's going on, or has there been more of a transition that's happened?
We're starting to see those fish really move up into the bays. I had some real good fish last weekend just throwing a jig, but those small swim baits, even a small spoon. Those fish are starting to chase those small minnows up in the shallows a lot. So I'm really targeting that depth between 2 feet, something like that. But they're definitely getting up there and chasing. I mean, I found a few stretches last weekend that were able to produce a number of fish and real quick in a tight area. So that tells me that we're starting to see some grouping and we're starting to see some fish really chase those minnows up good.
So you're talking about minnows. Are you starting to see them rippling the surface, little schools of the young of year shad? Is that what you're kind of starting to see up there? Is that what you're targeting?
Certainly. The very, very small, it just doesn't, it's always been baffled me. You start out in the spring of the year with these huge swim baits. You go through summer with these big swim baits. And then when you get to the fall, you got to go really size down. But that's exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing those big, huge balls of shad up shallow and just seeing those bass crash through them.
So when you're looking at a swim bait, that kind of style, what kind of rig are you throwing? What kind of swim bait? What kind of jig head size? How are you putting those things together?
I tell you what, I really like a 1/4 ounce. And there's a number of different swim baits out there, but 3.5, 4.5 inches. There's True Bass, Strike King. Uh, there's a number, Suicide Shads. I mean, there's a number of things, but I like that smaller weight. I like a 1/4 ounce weight. You can kind of work and finesse it through that grass, and that's what those bass are getting surprised by. That swim bait comes by and bam, they're catching it.
Well, Tom, as always, we know you're going to get out there on the water with Jennifer. You're going to have a great weekend. We're looking forward to it.
We're still catching some fish on that swimming worm now. Don't forget that. So
okay. We'll stop by the loft here at Bucks Island, and that's been our Guntersville report with Tom Ott, presented by Mercury.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one.
All right, everybody. This is Dan O'Sullivan again with your Bucks Island area fishing report for Saturday, September the 19th. We tried to catch up with Lee Pitts, but we're having a little bit of difficulty with technology. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about what Lee and I had found while we were trying to discuss this. Things have started to progress on the river a little bit here. Neely, Henry, we're starting to see water temperatures drop a little bit. The current's starting to go through the river with Hurricane Sally having gone through this week. They started running a few more turbines. The water's going to color up just a little bit. You might have to kind of brighten up your colors. But what you should see is as the shad start moving around the lake, you should be able to start pecking a few more fish up around grass, breakwaters, those kinds of things to be able to give you a chance. But moving baits are going to be something that you'll be able to do. You can catch fish on some crankbaits, chartreuse shad type colors, sexy shad type colors, those kinds of things. You might even, if you get upriver, look around some bluff walls and those kinds of things with even chartreuse and black if the water gets a little bit more dirty. But Neely, Henry, spotted bass should be moving around a little bit right now. You should be able to also pick off some largemouth around main river grass, but also start looking for the fish to move into the creek channels and those kinds of areas as the shad start to migrate. You'll start to see a few more pockets and groups of shad on the surface, dimpling the surface. So if that happens, look for a small swim bait on a jig head to be able to produce, or maybe even a 1/4 ounce rattle trap or something like that. Let's turn to Weiss Lake. Coosa River Team Trail's heading out on the water today up here at Weiss, going out a Little River Marina up there. We should expect to see some pretty decent weights as the temperatures have dropped off. Look for topwater baits, buzz baits, walking baits, those kinds of things. Again, square bill crankbaits around cover. And then as the afternoon starts to wear on, you may look at flipping jigs and creature baits around docks, some shallow grass, those kinds of things might work. You also might look for the shad balls up there. A bladed jig or those kinds of things may produce for you as the day wears on. But in both areas, offshore is not completely out yet because while the water started to cool, the fish are not all going to move at one time. You may still be able to catch a few fish on a Carolina rig offshore. You may still be able to catch a few fish on a football jig or maybe even a Texas rig worm. But the bottom line is the system's starting to wake up a little bit. Cooler temperatures, water temperature is going to drop. As we're getting a little bit more rain, you'll see a little bit more current go through the system, and having the water fall a little bit is going to concentrate the fish more around those outside areas. But that's your Bucks Island area fishing report for Saturday, September the 19th, presented by Mercury, and we will talk to you again next week. Well, thanks for spending some time with us on our Bucks Island area fishing report right here on our social media channels. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you'll be notified whenever anything happens right here at Bucks Island.